It's been hard, of course, to avoid watching what's happening in Los Angeles, of course, in the wake of those terrible fires, and then hear all the stories about insurance companies and claims being denied and what's going to happen, and not think about, of course, our own backyard. We, of course, in Quebec, had the remnants of Hurricane Debbie, which ended up being the most expensive weather-related event, I think in the history of Montreal, even more than the ice storm of 1998. And it brings the whole issue of insurance companies and rates. We also have flood zones in the city, right? And they have been talked about as far as people not being able to get insurance there. So we want to try to get a handle on this. Pierre Babinsky is Public Affairs Director for the Insurance Bureau of Canada. He's on the line. Hi, Pierre.
Hi, Aaron.
So look, as I said, I'm sure insurance companies are not really happy to sort of be in the news here these days, but the bottom line is a lot of people are wondering what's going on. And as I said, when you see what's happening in LA right now and you think about your own backyard, and Montreal has gone through its own problems, as I mentioned, weather-related events, we're told there'll be more and more of these and we should expect them. And at the same time, you should expect your insurance rates, if you can get insurance, to keep going higher. So what is the situation? Is that accurate?
Well, in Quebec, in Canada more generally, but certainly in Quebec, there are no issues getting home insurance for your residents. I mean, we're not in a situation comparable to California. In IBC, the Insurance Bureau of Canada in Quebec manages a home insurance access mechanisms, which means that people who have trouble finding an insurance for their dwelling can call our information center and we'll find them an insurer. So we're not there yet. Obviously, we see a lot of natural catastrophes. They're adding to the bill. So there's a lot of pressure on the cost of claims. And obviously that has an effect on premiums. But we're certainly nowhere near a situation like we're seeing in California.
Well, okay, I realize we're not anywhere near what's happening there. You're looking at entire communities there being destroyed by fires. But a lot of people here, and I've heard from callers on the show, even when we had the remnants, as I said, of Hurricane Debbie here, people who had difficulty then, and I know it all happened at the same time, getting insurance companies on the phone, working out deals. It seems to be tougher and tougher to deal with insurance companies these days. Why would that be?
Well, that's not what I'm seeing. I mean, obviously, after Hurricane Debbie, I mean, we had 85,000 claims. So if everybody tries to call their insurer at the same time, obviously that's going to jam phone systems. But we did a lot of information sharing at the time, telling people what to do before they need to speak with their insurer. People were hesitant to retrieve the water from their basement, but we told them it's okay. It won't affect your premium if you take all and reasonable steps to secure your basement and prevent further damage. So, yeah, there are exceptional events that put exceptional pressure, but at the time, insurers put every resource they had in responding to that. And, when people were able to speak with their insurer, a lot of the claims were settled very, very quickly.
What's the advice for people going forward? Because as I said in the introduction, we know now, right? I mean, forget about LA for the time being. We know weather-related events, wherever you happen to be, and we've gone through this in Montreal, are going to be happening more frequently. So for someone who experienced, a problem with Hurricane Debbie, had to file an insurance claim, has now been told, look, we're going to pay your claim, but your bill is going to be much more expensive next year. What can you do here to prepare yourself for more? How do you shop around? What's the best way to do it?
Well, and again, basic home insurance covers the usual perils. Sewer backups, earthquake, different other perils are covered by optional endorsement. So obviously, if you're in an area, for example, in Montreal, where there are sewer backups every time there's a heavy rain, you're going to have more trouble getting a sewer backup endorsement added to your protection. But your home will still be insured for the other perils. So any steps you can take, you can consult experts or a plumber, see if there's something you can do, a backup valve and things like that. There are things we can do also, make sure our roof is in good order, the caulking around our windows, that our basement windows are waterproof. So there are things that we can do, but certainly we've been calling on government year after year to increase the resilience of our community. So that means better water infrastructure, water collection infrastructure, better a building code that takes into account severe weather, so better roofing material, better siding material, better ways to build our homes, our foundations. So there are a lot of things that can be done. We're very good at recovery, at putting people back in the original state, but we need to do more in terms of mitigating risk.
Well, what happens in a case, Pierre, where someone who was insured with a company and then finds out, or they're not happy with the company, it took too long to get paid, or whatever the problem is, or their new rates are going to be so much higher? Can you actually shop around in the Canadian insurance industry and get deals anywhere?
Well, you can certainly shop around, see if one company may be looking to increase the number of clients in your area. There might be a rebate, but every insurer is exposed to the same conditions with the same climate events. Inflation, the rising cost of building materials, of manpower. So you might see some differences. What I think what's more important is really to look at what you need in terms of insurance. Don't shop a premium; just shop for the protections you need. And if you live in a basement, try to get sewer backup and various protections, but don't pay too much, but don't skip on some important protections just because you want to save on the premium.
Okay, I will point out, by the way, I should have said this off the top. When we talk about Canada, 2024 established a record. It was the costliest year for severe weather-related losses in Canadian history. That's $8.5 billion. You kind of wonder to some degree, did we lose any insurance companies in this country during that year?
No, we didn't. And our companies are well capitalized. They have. There are rules. Our industry is heavily regulated. So there are rules that dictate how much money, how much capital the insurers need to keep to pay claims. So we're in very good shape. Also, it's a record year, obviously, and it was a record year in Quebec also with Hurricane Debbie. But these events are spread out across Canada, across several insurers in every region. So it's yes, the whole industry is taking a hit, but every individual insurer is well equipped to deal with whatever share they got from those events.
All right, Pierre, we're going to have to leave it there. I thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Can I ask you one last question? If this is not fair, just tell me. We're looking at the situation in LA right now. It's not a Canadian situation. And there's a concern there. I'm sure you've heard this, right? From people who couldn't get coverage because they happen to live. And there are a lot of people out there now, from what we're hearing, who are basically without any insurance coverage at all. What happens to them?
Well, I understand there's a government insurance, but the main problem in California is that the government and regulators imposed a lot of constraints on insurers to adjust premiums based on risk. So if you can't charge enough premium to cover your losses, you're not going to be in business very long. So that's why some insurers are withdrawing from either taking on new clients or basically getting out of wildfires. So in Canada, certainly in Quebec, we have a government program, financial aid. So there are options, but certainly it's unfortunate, and we work very hard with government to avoid situations where we would see the same situation happen in Canada.
All right, Pierre, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Take care.
Pierre Babinsky from the Insurance Bureau of Canada. Yeah, by the way, that state, run fund that he talks about in California My understanding is it only has so much money in it, and obviously was never prepared for entire communities, to be wiped out. And there's not enough money in there now. And all the other insurance companies, even if you don't insure a particular person or a particular home, they would have to cough up money to top that fund up. So that's going to be a very, very interesting story as this continues, right?